Welcome to Sam's Russian Adventures, and welcome to a very, very cold day in Russia. As you can see all around us, we've got the summer cafes that are being built because they probably expected that by now the weather would be good and everybody would be sitting in them. But it's cold. It's good that in the back of my car I found this jacket and the hat and gloves. I hadn't removed them yet because it really is cold. Now today, my plan was to walk around in the sunshine, but it's actually been snowing a little bit. Hopefully it won't continue snowing. And it's also very windy. So I hope the wind isn't going to affect this video. My mouth, as you can probably hear, my voice isn't so clear because I'm still really suffering from the teeth I had removed a week ago. I'm going to have to go back to the dentist, I think, next week and try and sort something out because the pain is pretty incredible. But today, hopefully, if the wind doesn't destroy the video, we're going to talk about counterfeit goods in Russia. And this is a really interesting topic because counterfeit goods in Russia are rife. They are everywhere. But I'm not making this video to criticize Russia. This is a good thing because counterfeit goods are just as good as the real thing. All of these summer cafes with, of course, no sun and no people. Nobody is tempted by the scooters today. Let's see what's going to be shown at the Theatre of Dolls, or the Doll Theatre, I guess. It's weird because in winter, when it's only, I don't know, -10, you're like, oh, -10, let's have a barbecue, right? It's not -20, let's have a barbecue, let's go for a walk. But when you've already got used to the weather being warmer and then suddenly it drops, it feels like it's -50. It's really weird, like I'm really cold right now. Nobody is braving the outdoor tables. So I remember in the past when I was at school, there would always be one kid who, I guess his parents couldn't afford the cool sneakers or trainers or clothes, right? And they'd have either fake Nikes or fake Adidas. You know, in Russia there was always a joke like Abibas, you know, the fake Adidas. Or they'd have like a cheaper version of a cool make of trainers, whether that be like Goal or high-tech or something like that. But in the past, the fake items used to be really fake and it was obvious that they were fake. Whereas now, that's completely changed. So look, Windmill sound studio. Let's go and have a look. It's kind of half trespassing, half not. I am looking for the sound studio, right? Oh, look at this. This is really cool. What a courtyard, and check out the lights. I bet that's amazing. Wow. Oh man, that is incredible. I love that type of brick. That is so good. I bet you could have some really cool parties in here. So here it says actually a yoga and fitness club. Perhaps the sound studio is in there, although it doesn't look like anything is happening today. In Russia, we have a thriving counterfeit goods market, and it's almost impossible to know if the things you're buying are genuine or not. When sanctions started and all these products started disappearing from the Russian market, one of the first things that I noticed is you couldn't buy the best perfumes and aftershaves anymore. Some of them now you can get, but initially there was that initial period when sanctions started when they hadn't rerouted everything through other countries, and you couldn't get those aftershaves. And I was like, well, I really want my favorite aftershave. I like old school aftershaves like Dupe, or like my other like favorite one is, let me tell you now, Polo Sport, the blue one, the old school one. And you could only get these on these online marketplaces, but they would have a bottle for sale for like, I don't know, $5, and you'd be like, obviously the $5 one is fake. But then you could get another one for $200. Is the $200 one fake and just positioned and priced at $200 so that people think, well, if it's $200 it must be real, right? And so I actually bought for my girlfriend some Chanel number 5, is it, or Chanel number 1, I can't remember which one it is. And she got them and she was like, no, this one's fake. And I was like, wow, that cost me like $50 or something. I didn't think it was going to be fake. And so it's really difficult to tell. Now with the aftershaves, they smell exactly the same, but the smell isn't as strong. So you put it on and then perhaps, you know, a couple of hours later, the smell's already gone. But then if you're buying it really cheap, who cares if it's fake or not? As long as you're not spending loads of money and then getting the fake one. Obviously that would be frustrating, right? As it was in my case. In fact, the girl that I gave them to, after a year, she wrote to me and said, those aftershaves, well, not aftershaves, those perfumes, it'd be weird if she was wearing aftershave, hopefully she wasn't shaving, right? She said to me, I think the ones that I thought were fake might actually be real. She just had the idea that if it was bought on an online marketplace, then it's probably fake, because we're so used to now all the goods being fake. Here it says only vulgar and torpedo. And so perfume and soaps and stuff like that, they're the first kind of entry level for, like, you know, fake goods. But then we go to the next level, which is clothes and trainers. And clothes and trainers now, it's impossible to know if they're fake or not. It really is impossible. I would not spend a lot of money on anything from those online marketplaces like Wildberries or Ozon, because it's impossible to tell the difference between the original and the fakes. Now obviously you get some really crappy fakes, you know, and you can tell if it's just a crappy t-shirt that's like a really strange size with DKNY written on it, the chances are it's going to be fake. But there's so many like trainers and shoes. I bought Jordans, I've bought loads of different pairs of Nikes, loads of I've got another pair that I've just bought that are really cool now, that are dad shoes, right, that used to be always dad shoes but now they're popular, the New Balance. So here are my New Balance dad shoes. Haven't worn them yet. As soon as I know it's not going to be raining outside, I'll bust them on. And can you tell they're fake or are they real? They look very real, right? How would you know? You know, I've got no idea. They could be originals, they could be fakes. No way to know. They come in a whole New Balance thing. They've got a New Balance certificate, they've got a New Balance bag, but the chances are they're probably fake. And I already don't care if they're fake or not. That's the thing. It's almost impossible to tell. Only a real expert, maybe a person that collects these things, would know the difference. In the past, you know, you'd wear these things and your friends would say, oh, they're fake, they're the fake versions. Whereas now, no one can tell the difference. And so whether you're wearing fake or real, it really doesn't matter. You see, the interesting thing also with electronic goods that are fake is they're all made in China anyway. So if you're buying an original Apple Watch or a fake Apple Watch that I guess has been made in the exact same factory but has found a slightly separate door to leave the factory instead of through the official one, you can purchase that exact same product but for a fraction of the price, and it comes with all the exact same accessories, the instructions, the manual, everything is exactly the same, except it hasn't been registered through the official, I don't know, channels but you're able to then get something that is a fraction of the price but exactly the same quality. And now it used to be that you'd buy goods like this from your dodgy friend who you'd meet on a dark alleyway, right, and get these goods, whereas now it's out in the open. Russia's being sanctioned. I don't think any of these companies are worried in any way that the company that's officially left Russia is going to somehow sue these people for, you know, breach of selling fake versions of their, you know, products. And so these companies selling these fake products, they're out in the open. They show videos and they have Telegram channels where they show videos saying, look, this is what we sell, this is what you get. It is exactly the same as the original. And they're openly honest about the fact that it's fake. It's very refreshing, because now living in Russia, you can get exactly the same thing, made in exactly the same place, but for a fraction of the price. It's been like that for a long time when it comes to car parts, right? I drive a Porsche, and so whenever I need a part, they'll say to me, do you want the original or do you want the Chinese version, right? The analog, that's what they call it, the analog version. And of course, it's exactly the same as the Porsche version, as the original, but the price is, well, you know, 10 times less. I wonder if kids these days know the difference between real and fake. So when their friend or Igor goes to school and he's got a pair of Levi's jeans instead of Levi's, does everyone know that they're fake? Or is it impossible to tell now? So this is an interesting thing now. Everything is done on camera. You purchase your right to park the car, and then the camera picks up on whether or not you have the right to park the car and sends you the fine. It's exactly the same with the toll roads. In the past, the toll roads, you used to go to the barrier, pay your ticket to go on the road. None of that anymore now. You go on the road, you drive, and then you get a notification a couple of days later telling you how much you owe. Another lonely summer cafe. And so because these fake goods are now being sold everywhere, it's impossible to know if they're real or fake. It's pretty crazy that we live in that kind of world now, where if you see something at a normal price, and in your mind you would think it must be real, it must be genuine because it's the genuine price, but that doesn't mean it's genuine. So typically now I don't buy things at the real price, because you could be spending the real price for the goods and getting fake goods. So it's better to just buy the cheap one, knowing that it's fake, but at the same time it's identical to the one at the right price. So this must be the bravest person in Vladimir. Wow. I hope they've got some good heaters. Today it would probably be better to drive this bad boy. I know what you're going to say, right? Why should these companies be able to sell knockoff goods and get away with it? But at the end of the day, these companies, the actual company itself, have left Russia because of sanctions. They've decided that, you know, they don't want to work with Russia anymore. They've decided that Russia is not the place that they want to sell their goods. They're very hypocritical because they haven't left other countries who have been involved in wars. They never left the US or the UK ever, who have been involved in loads more wars than Russia. So I think if they're losing business because they've got some guy in their Chinese factory who's, I don't know, letting things go out the back door and then selling them unofficially to Russia, and then Russian people are able to purchase these products, which are essentially originals, but for a tenth of the price, then I think good on Russia. Because I'm not promoting stolen goods or anything like that, but these companies have left Russia, so now they've got no leg to stand on.